All right, looks like we're all started up here. It is September 23rd. This is Sharp Money office hours. Today we have myself closing dime. We have Sigma Squirrel and Math Wins. Jay is not with us tonight. And we don't have too much on the agenda. I think Adam is going to talk about maybe the future of sports betting
It's
with
small
the
topic.
exchanges. Yeah, he's excited to talk about this one. So we're going to let him go for a little bit. Um,
As yes, Jeff, as my a designated time moderator, you have full permission to tell me to stop talking. That's you play that role very well in this show.
I can do that.
yeah, you don't need to tell him twice. Anyway, so the schedule will be we'll talk about the couple topics that we have. Then we'll play Bet It or Forget It, which is a little game with our plus EV bots, whether you would take the bet or not. You can win some free weeks. So we'll pull someone from the audience later to come up and play that game, which is cool. And then at the end, we will open up the panel if anyone wants to join. I know Brayton, one of our moderators, said he might be on tonight, and I told him to pull him up on the panel if he's in here. So I'll look for him and maybe get him up here. He is in there. I'm gonna promote him to the panel. Cool. So yeah, Adam, what do you want to talk about?
Well, if you've for anyone who's found the industry and what's going on right now, there's two big things going on in our market, in our industry right now. Number one is the gambling tax loss provision that was passed in the big beautiful bill that everyone here listening, or if you're watching this on recording, need to understand that this bill threatens the viability of regulated sportsbook markets at the state level because it limits your gambling losses to 90% of your winnings. And effectively what that means is unless you clear, a 10% return on investment, which is nobody, you're going to get taxed on money you didn't make. And so that is going to inspire you to look elsewhere. Right. So we care about the regulated market. We love the regulated market. Our bots primarily give you edges on the regulated markets. We care a lot about this. But, the other big story is prediction markets like Kalshi. Seemingly every day a new entrant enters the space. Just this morning, a day after their acquisition, which was, long rumored, was announced, Prize Picks today announced they have been given CFTC approval to offer prediction markets. Everyone's trying to be in the prediction market business because as a prediction market, you are federally regulated. You don't have to play by the state's rules. And as a player, you like prediction markets because you don't get limited. You're trading against individuals. There is no book. You're trading against others, similar to the way Novig and ProfitX work, but you're just doing it on a federally licensed prediction exchange. So
I hate to cut you off, but I want to ask you a question while you're on this.
Sure.
So I know like Prize Picks is getting involved. Robinhood got involved, and I know like Robinhood basically just feeds into Kalshi, and Robinhood takes like a cut of their market. So is that what all these books are doing? Are they all just going to be kind of like a funnel to like Kalshi or bigger prediction market, and they just take a fee for their users, or how does that look?
Such a good question. That's the question. Every body in every provider in the space that's not a state level regulated book needs to ask the question: do we want to offer our own prediction market, or do we want to send our users through partnership to another one? Robinhood, a couple weeks ago, launched a partnership with Kalshi where if you're a Robinhood customer, you can go inside of your Robinhood account, go to their prediction markets and bet on NFL money lines in your Robinhood app. And I jokingly made the post about a month ago, on X that, welcome all Robinhood retail sports traders who are going to put my kids through college. I mean, it is literally the squarest action possible. Price agnostic square bettors betting with their savings in Robinhood and, well, making predictions, let's say. It's not sports betting, asterisk. And so it's really good for our community because, we're trying to teach you how to be sharper in this business. Well, anyone who's limited and is looking for outs, Kalshi is your new best friend. Well, others have made partnerships. Crypto.com has a partnership. Um, it's no secret FanDuel and DraftKings are looking at making this decision, but you saw a counter move by Arizona's Gaming Commission and Attorney General basically said, we are warning all regulated Arizona sports books that if you offer prediction markets, your license is at risk. So they're basically going,
Yeah, it's a threat.
you better not do that. And so what the bigs have to determine is where's the tipping point where we don't give a shit about the state of Arizona or Massachusetts or any of these others threatening? They're basically saying it's clear consumers like being able to do whatever they want, bet what they want, on what they want, when they want, with no limits or rules against their peers. So consumers, the market's saying we want this. The regulators are saying we like our monopoly and our tax base. And there's a pretty big fight brewing. And so that's my answer, is that everybody's got to make a decision. Novig's got to make that decision. Is the sweeps exchange model, does it have a shelf life? Maybe, maybe not. But are you going to try to become a prediction market? Fine. This is an eBay problem, though. So, I mean, there's really only going to be one, maybe two, with enough liquidity and volume to support healthy markets. So what you're going to see is this proliferation of prediction markets over the next 18 months, and then this giant consolidating collapse that happens over the next 18 months after that. And we're going to end up with Kalshi and Poly market. I mean, I really do think you're going to have two. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Essentially, it's the same theory that I've heard too with sportsbook is, you have this big bubble that has just bursted and sports betting has taken off. And there really probably only will be a couple of sports books that can actually outlast, like DraftKings and FanDuel.
That's
are
exactly
just going
right.
to have so much of the market that, if you're a Bally bet or if you're maybe even like MGM's kind of big, but ESPN bet, like these smaller markets, they're not going to be able to compete with FanDuel or DraftKings. And I agree with the prediction market. You're going to bet where there is the most liquidity and the least amount of fees, and whoever can get there first is going to own the whole market. Like there's no reason to bet somewhere where there's no liquidity or the fees are higher. Like it just doesn't make sense. So it's good for the consumer because everyone is competing to build the best product to use right now. I think it's kind of Novig's approach where it's like, hey, we're not going to take any fees from you and we're going to build up this user base like crazy and then go from there. So it's definitely great for the consumer to have all this competition.
Exactly right. So, in sports betting, you're going to, ESPN's not going to make it, that you can see it. Fanatics is surprisingly resilient, actually making a lot of moves. They're doing a great job. BetMGM will live just because, they've got such a land-based casino size to prop up their sports betting business, which turned its first profit earlier this year. You have niche players like Bet Rivers. There's not room for many others as the price of doing business goes up. And then the question, so there'll be, a duopoly, if you will, in regulated betting. Then you're going to have happen in prediction market providers what we saw happen after PASPA in 2018. We have this explosion of sports books. And then there's going to be a duopoly in prediction markets. And then the 5 years from now question is the prediction market duopoly going to eat the regulated FanDuel DraftKings duopoly? It's going to be a battle royale, and we, as the better and market participant, get to enjoy the fruits of cutthroat market competition between providers, where they're actually competing for our dollars and not just flipping us the bird like they do in Illinois and charge us % bet so taxes of 25 or 50 cents. And so the consumer wants frictionless, limitless, peer-to-peer trading on very tight spreads.
Yeah, I mean,
regulated books don't give you that experience. And that's why that model's going to lose.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no chance it can win. The only reason that the sportsbook model is working right now is because people are uneducated and they don't know what else is going on. But I was looking today on Novig. I was on Outlier doing a live stream. I was just looking at Novig markets, and I could bet, I think it was the Mets Cubs. I could bet the Cubs at minus 101 and then the Mets at like plus 101 with literally zero VIG. Hop over to FanDuel, it's minus 110 for both money lines. And I'm like, you have to be crazy to go on FanDuel and place this bet. Like once people understand what prices actually mean in sports betting. Like there's no way
Yeah.
that FanDuel can survive.
So 98% of sports bettors don't make money, but that's because there's a VIG. When the VIG compresses to 1% or sub 1%, that 98% probably becomes a little bit more like 60, 65%. I mean, it's these prices settle, as we talk about here every week, these prices settle at the 50-50 median. These markets get shaped at the 50-50 median, and a plus 100, plus 100 spread is a true no VIG spread. You're at 101, 102, man. That's super
Yeah.
close. And I think it's good for the average American retail betting consumer who can um, put some money behind an opinion, even if it's square opinion, and not get ripped by the VIG. I think it's great. And so,
Yeah.
on that note, I have spent some time, through my board seat on American Bettor's Voice, working on a report and a financial model to predict just how much handle at the regulated books is at risk in migration if this tax isn't repealed by Jan 1, and the impact on both the operator's revenue and on the state tax base. And it's my attempt in my own small way of trying to, and you can quote me on this, wake these congressmen and women the heck up about why this matters so much. They're going to destroy regulated gaming and push everyone either to prediction markets or back offshore. And the conspiracy theorist in you might say, well, isn't that what Donald Trump Jr. wants on the board of Kalshi?
Yep.
Probably not hating it, but he's also not an elected official. So, that report will drop tomorrow. And we'll make sure everybody sees the coverage and you can weigh in, but it's been a fun project to work on. And, here at SharpMoney, we're more than we're just shipping edges. We care about this industry, and this is our way here of giving back. And so, when that drops, I hope everybody takes a look and helps get the word out.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to look at that. The big thing is going to be Q1 of 2026. If this doesn't get passed, and the sports books are going to realize how much their handle probably tanks if this tax code is still up there. I mean, from what I'm seeing, it's like I feel like it's still very confident it would get passed in 2026, and you wouldn't, it would be effective for 2027. You wouldn't have to pay. It'd be back to normal probably by then. But it's like, can you go to Q1 and start betting, just hoping that it gets removed? I don't know. It's
exactly right. I mean, what syndicate or large volume bettor is going to take the risk of hoping something gets repealed?
Yeah.
You're going to put $2 million, $5 million, $10 million a handle down by April 1st or June 1st and hope you're not stuck with $1 million tax bill at the end of the year. I just don't see it happen. And, Dime, what you and I know is happening is anybody that's got any kind of bankroll is already moving to, back offshore, or they're going to prediction markets. And I think, my model shows that over the next 18 months, anywhere from 15% on my conservative case to 35% at the extreme case of handle is going to move. And that includes both sharp bets and whale VIP Square customers, which are responsible in my model. What I've learned is about 80% of all handle comes from VIP customers and syndicates. And so, the whale bettor that likes to, bet $100,000 a click, and there's special limits that they got at DraftKings, and the first time their CPA tells them I wouldn't do that anymore, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to start clicking on Kalshi. And it's bad. It's just bad. It's bad for the industry. And I think ultimately this is going to end up being fun to watch and good for us. But it would be a tragedy. And I mean, state level budgets would get hit really hard if they don't do something about this. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So there's your industry corner for the.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'm excited for that little report you're putting out tomorrow as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about, I mean, I'll lead this off, but about our NFL projections week. Well, for the first 3 weeks, really. So
what I want to talk about? I want to talk about how you managed in 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 one off season to build a model that slayed the first 3 weeks like you did. That, man, hats off.
Yeah.
That is just so solid.
So I'll be honest. So I did a little projecting last year, but it was very laid back, and the model wasn't nearly as good as it is now. But to be honest, like I was expecting to find like, I don't know, maybe 5 plays a week with like a decent edge. And when I first built the model and I was finding like a significant amount of plays, I know even Jeff texted me, he's like, "How are you finding all these edges?" I was like, I didn't think there'd be that many. But so I wasn't sure if the model was that good because I was like, all right, there can't be this many edges in this small niche market. And then we started pulling, multiple people with 10 yards in our favor. Like everything closed really well. So I'm like, okay, these are real edges. What I will say is, I think the first 3 weeks, my edge might be the largest because a lot of it was manual work. And now
Yeah.
that these numbers, everyone has access to these numbers and the sports books have access to these numbers, it seems like everything is shaping up a little tighter. Like when I added my projections this week, I was like very tight to the market on a lot of plays where I wasn't last time. So I think it's almost, I can trust my model more now, but I think
Mhm.
also the numbers are getting tighter and the edges might be a little smaller. So, but yeah, the first 3 weeks, I mean, we're 24 and 15, and we're up
So
like
good.
almost 6.5 units with a 15 or 16% ROI. And for when it comes to close, I've been tracking the close. I mean, we're probably close to 80% beating the close. Um, yeah, so it's been great, and I'm building a lot of confidence, which is nice. But the model has been tweaked over the past couple of weeks because it's slowly. Well, the first couple of weeks I didn't project rookies because I had nothing on them, so we're starting
Yep.
to work on some rookie numbers, which is still a lot of. I'm not going to say guesswork because it's educated guesses, but I'm not going to project someone's yards per carry after 20 attempts because some people probably have 3 and some have 10 yards to carry. So it's still a little tweaking where I'm like rating people back to like market average. And even I'm using a lot of last year's numbers, even on the veterans, just assuming that they go back to, their old kind of ways. And like, you know, you can easily average 8 yards a carry the first 3 weeks on 20, 30 attempts. So slowly
Yeah, I mean, Cam
beating.
Scatabo is a great example of that. Like, no one had him to do what he did this weekend. I mean, how are you going to project Cam's, Scadabo's going to do what he did in that game? But now we
Yeah.
know, right? Now we know. Now we know he's probably going to get the majority of the RB carries in backfield pass situations. I mean, plus he's fun to watch. Um, and here's what's because he's exciting. What that's going to lead to is overpriced overs and
For
edges
him.
on unders, which, as this community knows, we live on unders, but unders aren't fun to watch the game. I mean, I'm out there last night cheering for Amon-Ra St. Brown to not catch another pass for the love of God. It's not fun to root against things happening. That's why I don't watch, a lot of the games, but um, it's where the value is. And the thing I applaud so much, Dime, about what you did is you beat the first 3 weeks. And my model is based on what happens after we have 4 weeks of data, which was part of the post in education I put today. My model's not great in the first 2 weeks, and I know that because it depends on the variance over average values that you don't get until week really 4 or 5. And so, I mean, is Aaron Glenn going to have an impact in the new coaching roles? Ben Johnson going to have an impact in the new coaching role? What are the rookies going to do? Who's for real and who isn't? You just don't know. And so the fact that you beat it with none of that cold is very impressive, man.
Robbie, question for you. How much of like as you think about your first 3 weeks here of ever, modeling out and shipping plays, I know in talking to you a little bit, a lot of it to me sounds like your edge is a lot information based right now. How much of your like what percentage of your edge would you say is coming from just information, digging into coaches, interviews, beat writers, that kind of stuff versus just throwing statistics into a spreadsheet?
Yeah, so every week I go through all the game logs and track. So my edge is I think the edge is projecting what percent of the work that each running back is going to get, or the quarterback, whoever. So I go, instead of just pulling like how many attempts every player got on that team, I look at what attempts actually mattered. Like if someone got 5 carries in the last drive because they were down 21, like I'm not, if you pulled it from a model, you would say, all right, this guy's going to get 15% of the work next week. I would say he's getting 0. So it's just like that extra mile where if the sports book isn't manually adjusting their model, then I'm going to beat them. And that's kind of where I think the edge is. I think that if you just pull game logs and take, the rushing attempts or whatever percent carries they got, you're going to pretty much get what the market gets. But if you tweak those numbers to what is probably actually going to happen, that's kind of your edge. But that's why I also feel like the edge is going to get a little bit tighter because all the information is there, and even myself will be pricing it in a little bit more. So,
Well, I also wonder, yeah, I mean, that was great. I think that's exactly, what I kind of anticipated you to say. As you think about, you know, moving forward and this information based algorithm, I wonder how much, and this is just me being curious, just because I think the most amount of money is in NFL props, like that almost has to help you with like sustain your edge, right? Because there's so much money flooding into these prop markets. I think the amount of liquidity that's coming in from non-sharp
mm,
sources has to be allowing originators for your edges to almost last longer.
I had the same thought like earlier today. It was like my few $100s is probably just blending into the market when if you bet $200 on a WNBA assist market, it's like, okay, these 6 guys just hit this under
Well,
assisted
I
WNBA,
pray
let's
to
move
God
this
that
line.
your edge lasts longer than this WNBA bullshit we're dealing with right now, because I
Yeah,
am
so
so
it's like
frustrated.
I think
Huh.
books could even move, like FanDuel might take so much action from non-sharp bettors that they might move their line the wrong way just because they're getting so much work from squares, because it's just that liquid of a market and everyone wants to bet it. So that's one thought I've had. The other thought I have too is with the exchanges, um, like you can put some good prices on the exchange. Like anything you put on the exchange right before game time almost seems like it gets filled. Like say you have a line where FanDuel is sitting minus 110 right before game time, both sides of the line. I can go onto an exchange and probably take my side of the line for minus 102, and it'll populate a plus 102, and someone will grab it because it's a plus 102 in a minus 110 market. So it's like if I just have a lean on one side, I can almost take a free shot with like barely any vig, like closer to game time. So that's something I kind of want to experiment with too. I think most of the edge is going to be gone by then, but if I'm not betting minus 110, I can kind of take good educated guesses here and without paying vig.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean the holy grail is betting 30 minutes before post with disguised CLV, and I think Dime, that you're tracking on this for player props.
Well,
That's a little bit different than sides
Adam,
and
that doesn't
totals.
even matter when you're betting into exchanges,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
doesn't
But
matter. Doesn't matter on
yeah,
exchanges. That's correct.
Robbie, I'm curious to see, just because like, and I haven't surfed through Novig. I was actually surfing through Novig a little bit today, just looking at liquidity in WNBA prop markets, and there's not much at all. And I'm assuming NFL is far different, but I wonder if you could even post those, like what would be a better than market price, just because it populates, like let's say market's sitting at minus 110. I wonder if you could even post like earlier the minus 105, minus 103, and just get that extra edge
Yeah, that
before game time.
I agree. I think people would take those. Like it's something we got to experiment with for sure, because I'm getting basically all the fills that I post, which is nice. So it,
I mean,
it
so
just
Dime, I haven't looked at this. I'm not a right before post better, right? I'm shipping days ahead of time and generally just not watching, for additional just because, time constraints mostly. But like, if I had a thought and I just lost it, I'm gonna pass. You can come back
Yeah,
to me.
that's
I
all
don't know what
right.
just happened. Did
I
you
got
hear
you. I'll
the?
take it off, Adam. So,
Thanks.
Robbie, back to your information based stuff. Um, I almost think that what you're doing will not maybe always be there, but will last because think about the effort that you're putting into this. Like the common person who wants to just jump into modeling right away, wants to throw numbers in a spreadsheet, and they don't want to go dig for the information that you're digging for. Like the carries or the percent of usage that doesn't matter. Like that
Mhm.
stuff's not just blatantly obvious and available, right? Like you got to do a little bit of digging for that, and that's where that extra effort goes in. Like I was listening to somebody who models the NBA, and they literally don't model the NBA. They just bet off of prices. Uh oh.
Yeah, I got an angry baby. All
Got
right.
an angry 2 week old. But they literally don't even model numbers out. They just bet off of information and who they think is going to play, what coaches are saying in press conferences about, who they may give a little bit of extended run to, who maybe is in the doghouse and may get less run. Like that stuff is stuff that sports books don't necessarily dive into.
Yeah,
So I think that's a huge piece or a huge thing that is going to really benefit you moving forward.
there's a lot more logic involved than I thought than just building a model and betting numbers. There are a lot of edges that, like, I think I forgot who said this, but I saw this recently, was like, just build a shitty model. Like it gives you, if you know where your model is weak, it's still so much information to have. Like if I see
Amen to that.
a 20% edge, some of those I lay off of just because of my logic. It's like, okay, I have a lot of game script kind of factored in, but if, I really think this is going to be a blowout and I'm betting like a backup running back, like maybe I don't want to take his under because he might get some garbage carry. So it's like, even though my model is showing an edge, it's like I still need some logic to like know whether I should take this bet or not. So it's like a combo, and it's kind of more than I thought it would be. Like it's not just betting my model that has an edge. It's a lot of logic.
I remember what I was going to say. Have you noticed? My question to you: have you noticed that pregame essentially most or all of the order book gets scooped? I mean, is it just people are just buying the order book out? They're like, I want to bet, Barkley's over this week, or, I'm gonna take this under that this sharp dude made. I don't care what the price is. I want this action, and you just see the order book get wiped. I don't know if that. I mean, I'm not watching it. That's my point. Like, is that you just watching that happen on these exchanges?
I'm not. No, not because I haven't been watching it that close. I guess there's no way, unless you're really seeing it happen, you wouldn't see it happen. But I'm not sure if you could fill a worse number than the sports book is putting up, but I'm pretty confident if you put any number. I think there's like, especially day of when the line's closed, there are going to be so many opinions that are like, if, like I said, if FanDuel has -110 on both sides, there's going to be an opinion on both sides of that line where people would bet either side of it because FanDuel is probably pretty tight. So it's like if you just give them a little bit of a better price, they're going to jump on your line. So yeah, I don't know if they would take a worse price than the book. Maybe someone would, but for the most part, I think if you just, if I have a value to FanDuel at -110, instead of betting them at -110, I go post it at -105. It'll get filled right
Yeah.
before game time every time.
What?
Okay. What time we got? We'll probably start the bet it or forget it. All right, we need someone in the audience if they want to play.
Hit that hand raise reaction icon. First up is up.
Make Braxton play.
He did
I'm
just
kind of curious to hear what Braxton would say about grass. We haven't had him up in a while to just talk sports betting.
Yeah, I know. We needed to start doing the live streams again on Saturday. All right. No one wants to play. I mean, we.
Hey, there we go.
Kells. I got to share my screen. Can one of you guys pull them up?
I got you.
I don't think we can.
Or maybe
if we're not. Fine. Adam's got it.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, yeah.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Sweet. All right, Kells, you've been with us for a while, right?
Since June.
The other day.
Yep, I played 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I was like, this name is sounding even more familiar.
Yeah, I figured I'll come back this week now.
Yeah, sweet. All right, you know how to play then, so
Yeah.
I'll give a quick intro just for anyone that's not sure, but game's called Bet It or Forget It. And we're going to analyze some SharpMoney plus EV graphs. You will choose Bet It or Forget It. And if you agree with the majority of the owners, you'll win a free week. And then each week, you can risk to win another one. And we only have 3 this week, so you only got 3 weeks to win.
Sounds good.
Well, how did you end up last time?
I got 3 right, and then you guys choose a super early NFL play on a Monday, and it went 3-1.
We'll see. All right, let's see if this one goes. So we just kind of launched the new NFL player prop bot. So the first couple are going to be.
Yeah,
NFL
I have not been doing too good on NFL, but
I haven't been either. So it's probably not your
closing line's been good, but result hasn't been there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's football screwy, man. Football is hard to win, especially you only play once a week. The sample size is just so much smaller than any of the other sports.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the first play is Justin Fields over 187 passing yards at -114 on FanDuel, 2% edge. This is a DVig just to bookmaker because we can only DVig to books that have the exact line, which is tough to find for passing yards. So Justin Fields on bookmaker over 187 is -139. But we do pull the main lines for Circa, Bookmaker, and Pinnacle and display those so you can get a reference to where the kind of market is moving or where it's sitting at. So you got Circa sitting a yard higher at 188.5 -110. Bookmaker is the DVig book, and then Pinnacle is sitting at 190.5 juiced -130. So what are your thoughts here?
All right. I think odd movement is looking good, but I probably wouldn't take it.
All right, let's see the answers. I said I would. Sigma said he would. Okay. So we got the clean sweep here.
Okay, yeah. It was the EV percentage for me.
That was too low.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, well, like, because with MLB, I was trying to hit high, like 3, 4, 5% edges. I guess with football, I'm a little bit more lenient. But I think here the line movement just intrigued me. I guess just on Pinnacle, it's not a huge move, but going from 188 to 190, it just shows a little market direction. But it's not a slam dunk play, but it's definitely a small edge, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Did you guys want to get what was his name, Braxton, up here then?
I don't even know
if he wants to.
Yeah, we'll just keep going with you. You can win.
Yep, sounds good.
Because we only got a few people in the audience today.
Oh, but we got Bionic Keith's raising his hand.
Yeah, if he wants to go.
All right, sweet. All right, thanks again, Kells.
Yeah.
Dime, on this one, just curious while we get Keith up here, does it give you any pause or concern that Bookmaker moved backwards from -152 to -139?
Not only that, but I'm just realizing, like Pinnacle too. They moved from 188.5 at -140, and then they moved up in yards but dropped their price. So it might even be a better price now at 190.5. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I didn't read this one hard enough and just bet it.
What do you mean? Penny's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, but they lowered their price by so much. Well, I guess from the
No,
beginning.
well, but then it ran from -120 to -130.
Yeah, you're right. They did juice up to
So
190.5.
I'm just wondering, like, if bookmaker moving, what is that, 13 cents the opposite way gives you any pause.
A little bit, but I guess it's a 2% edge to that line. Yeah, it's like I said, it's not a great play, but desperate for NFL.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh, by the way, it's Bionic Kitte, like kitten. That's why I got like a little cat emoji.
Nice.
Right.
I always
I
think
do
of
math. I
FanDuel.
don't read.
They say like, "What's the worst name?" Keith.
Yeah, we're off pronouncing names. All right, Bionic. How long have you been with Sharp Money?
I joined end of June when you guys did the $1 promo.
Oh, nice.
End of July, actually. Yeah. So I've been like about a month. Beginning of September has been amazing. Starting to plateau a little bit, but it's just been awesome. It's totally changed the way I approach betting.
So is this your first experience with plus EV betting at all?
I did Odds Jam briefly. I don't know. I kind of got away from it, but I was into it for a while, but it was a lot to digest, and I had trouble setting the filters.
Yeah, it's kind of a little pain.
But seeing the line movement, I think that's what's really changed it for me, is like watching those graphs move in one direction or another. And I don't think I saw that in the past. So anytime I saw any EV, I was just like hammering it. But I also have like a super, super low unit amount. That's the other thing that I think has been huge for me. I had no unit structure at all. And this has been great to be like understanding what a QK is and stuff like that. So thank you guys for everything. It's been awesome.
That's sweet. Yeah, I think the whole Sharp Money idea prompted from, we were all Odds Jam users, and I think I first upgraded to their platinum plan, which showed like the odds movement. And I was like, wow, this is like, I can't EV bet without odds movement now.
Yeah.
And then we decided to build it, and which we all kind of dropped Odds Jam, and now we're all using this. So yeah,
I haven't seen you guys all over Pickett, so I was like, let me give it a try. And I had actually, it's funny, Odds Jam got me into Fliff, and I just my bankroll just went down to 0 there, and I'm not sure. I know, like, I feel like a lot of people here really like it. I found some value, but I don't know. I'm like on the fence about it.
Fliff was.
I'll
like
be honest. I think
one.
there's a lot of books that are more beneficial than Fliff. Like if you're very limited in your outs, I think Fliff is good. But if you have other books that allow you to get down, I would use other books.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
that's just me though.
Yeah, I know you guys advocate for like take as many books as you can. I'm in New York, so I have access to so many, but I'm already a little overwhelmed with DraftKings, FanDuel. I kind of hate Caesars, but it's in there, so I take advantage when I can.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was funny because Odds Jam had that package, and it was those four: Fliff, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel. And I was like, so I only added Caesars and Fliff because I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of Odds Jam.
Yep. All right, let's take a look at this first play then. This was the old one. All right, we have the Vikings-Falcons. Aaron Jones over 38.5 rushing yards, 2.5% EV. The DVIG book is Pinnacle. They're set at over 38.5 for -140. And then we also see the Circa line here move from 37.5 to 40.5.
I mean, I like it compared to all this and not seeing the chart. I feel like I might have taken this, but I think Kells previously, I was kind of more along the lines. The only thing that scares me a little is the EV. I feel like with the player props, I've tried to kind of get a better edge there. Also, this is interesting because I could see the team, and I like a home team. I like, kind of Ed saying Vikings may have the ball control, may take it over. I'd probably take it.
Pretty sure he got injured in this game, but
he definitely did get injured in this game.
Well, yeah.
That's my luck.
I don't know if he hit his over or not, though. But let's see what we would say. Sigma went with the yes. I went yes. Everyone went yes again.
Hey,
so 2 good ones.
That.
All right. Who wants to talk about this one a little more?
I can kind of give my thoughts on it. So the biggest thing that stands out to me here that I like is you have a 2% edge to Penny, who's sitting at the same yardage, but 30 something 27 cents better. And then Circa is sitting, you're getting not only getting 2 yards here to Circa, but you're also getting the edge to Pinnacle. So the fact that Circa has moved to 40 yards is also just a good indicator that we're on the right side of this bet. So the fact that both books have moved higher in yardage tells me that the over is definitely the side you want to be on.
Yep, I agree there too. That's why I took it.
Interesting. See, I lump a lot of these together, so it's good to hear you guys talk about which ones are sharp, depending on what sport it is. That's all.
And I'll be, Adam, let me throw this one to you. If Circa opened at 40 and Pinnacle opened at 38, does that change anything for you? The fact that you wouldn't have a line moving up, but they opened at those values?
It would cause me to go from yes to wait and see what happens. I want to see the next move. That's what I'd want to see. I'd hold off until I saw a move. I need a confirming move from a second book on a
I
play
agree
like this.
100%.
I will,
And that's why I asked you, because I figured you'd be on my side.
something to watch out for too is I feel like a lot of these player props are getting like setup lines too, like reversed, like early, like Thursday, Friday, getting moved one way to get back the other. Like I feel like I've seen it multiple times.
Why would anybody do that if the amount you can get down on them doesn't change?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Like, that's my
if you
biggest
move
thing, like-
Pinnacle, the rest of the market follows, and you can hit all the other books at a good price. I don't know. It just seems seems very up and down sometimes.
I've noticed that like 20 or like 15 or 20 cent drop at a sharp book, and then the Recs are usually still sitting at like the line just previous to that. And that's usually a good pat on the back for me, but I love to see it move in the right direction too.
Agreed. All right, let's move on to the last one. So that's you got one.
Well, does he take his week, or is he going to press his bet?
You want to risk the second week?
Oh, I mean, if somebody else wants to go, they can. For some reason I was mad nervous to get on here. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, I'm talking to the owners. You guys, it's been awesome though. I love it. Especially props to the promo team. They're growing my bankroll immensely. So it's been
those guys are absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of success. Your mindset's right. You're studying it. Congratulations. I'm happy to hear this is working for you.
Yeah. And it's just, I'm very mathematically minded. And when you guys were talking about models, like I love a spreadsheet. It's like, I was just dumping data in, and just basically a lot of historical analysis. This happened before, so it must happen again. And it's like, this is completely turned that on my head. And now I'm looking at CNO like every day, just seeing if I could catch edges.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's everyone's first experience is they try doing it on your own, and then you figure out what you're actually going to do. All right, so do you want to look at this one before you make a decision?
This looks like college total, I'm guessing.
Oh, we don't have it, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's no way. You see an NFL total of 61.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I mean, anything I see when I see stuff get this high, I get a little concerned. But at college level, that I forget. Sometimes the EV at this level is not as important. It's moving the right way. The graph is going down. I mean, I'm leaning, especially with the QK. I would probably put something small on it. I don't know if I'm confident in it. It might be like it catches me in a moment of weakness where I just want to get something down, and I'm like, oh, especially with a small unit size, I'll throw $5 on that. Sure, why not? But again, the one thing that really worries me is that 62. That's pretty high even for college.
Yeah, I wish we didn't got cropped off the teams, which is. Well, I don't know. I don't even view the teams when I'm EV betting. I don't try to let that influence me.
Yeah,
so maybe it's good practice.
Some college teams I know better than others, but yeah. So yeah, well, we'll say I would take it for us. Just dip a toe in the water.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you go off Quarter Kelly and you're playing 0.5% EV, it's going to tell you to barely bet anything. So
yeah.
All right. So another. So no, I actually said no here. I will I forgot that I said no on this one, but 3-1, you got it.
All right.
I will explain my answer first. And so it's a college total, and it looks like it has value to bookmaker here and some action towards the over. But I think really the thing that turns me off here is just the circa number is only a half point higher, and you're paying, another 7 cents just for that half point. So it's clearly no value to circa, and the limits on Pinnacle are just very low right now at $1,000, and the market is moving in the right direction. But I guess betting this early in the week or this low of a limit, I just want to see more value on all the books, and circa is probably the sharpest for college football. So for me, this is like clearly a negative EV play to circa. So it's just something I would lay off of for that reason.
That's a good
I
reminder.
respect that.
Walker was sharp, but is circa's sharpest for college?
Yes.
Good to know. Thank you.
I respect that opinion. I mean, this is for me for like a snack bet. You're a 0.17 or 0.3 low total, but this is one of those charts I look at from the bot, and it's like, the slope is right. You saw a confirming downward move. It took 3 hours, but you got some follow through, move more than 10 cents. This is one of those lines that it's either going to revert back to no value, but probably not completely reverse, in which case I've got a coin flip, or this thing keeps steaming. And this is one of those graphs that, you can close with a 20 or 30 cent improvement by the end of the week. I would fire it and look for a second bet on the same game total with the next graph that shipped.
Yep. I don't hate that logic.
So Bionic, we won't hold this one against you. We'll give you the dub here, but there must have been some miscommunication behind the scenes, because I would not take this bet.
I didn't get to pull you.
That's okay. But my only reason being is, if you look at the dates on Circa and Bookmaker, that's our opener for Circa on a Sunday. So that is 6 days before game day. I'm assuming game is on a Saturday. We don't have that information, but that would be my guess. So the fact that it's because, and the reason that it kind of tipped me off to that was we're only at $1,000 limits, and college you'll see get up to, I want to say it's 3,000 for totals, somewhere around there, 3,000, 3,500. So I actually want to see what Circa is going to do before I pull the trigger here. I want to see if Circa even moves to like 62.5. I absolutely love this play, but the fact that Circa opened at 62 just gives me pause, because like Robbie said, we are paying more juice for like 7 cents a juice for that half a point. I don't know. I'm just not sold on this yet, especially because it's so early in the week.
Yeah. Like, my logic is I would rather, if I was going to bet this over, I would probably take it on Circa at 62 at minus 110, because I think that half point is probably not even worth 7 cents. So.
Yeah, I have to get better at looking at the times. I'm definitely like a visual person, and when I see a nice graph, I'm just like, oh, there it is. And then later in the week, you're like, well, wish I hadn't jumped that so quickly.
Right.
But that's why I love being on these sessions and just hearing the way you guys analyze everything together. And you're not just like, I get a little pigeonholed on those graphs, but especially the limits. I forget that white line means a lot.
Exactly.
Matt, that's such a good catch. I didn't even notice this. I mean, like, if the graph ships open up and it's on my phone on a Sunday, at noon, I know it's the Circa opener, but I didn't, when I was looking at this graph, that's such a good catch. Circa opened 62. I probably wouldn't take this bet. You're not wrong. I mean, Bookmaker opened 6 hours later, a half point below, and then the total moved. But Circa hasn't moved yet, and people bet the snot out of those Circa openers, because that's your edge if you're a college capper, is betting into Circa for, a dime, limit. And I would rethink. I mean, give them the W, but you've changed my perspective.
I appreciate the win, guy.
You've changed my perspective.
So, Bionic, I think that's the fight we all fight when we see graphs with a downward trend. Is you're fighting two different fights here, right? You're fighting the fight of absorbing enough information from the charts and the graphs that gives you the confidence to play it, and you're fighting, shit, I got to do this as fast as possible before this line moves and I lose my value.
Oh
So
my
you're
God.
trying to balance digesting information without moving too fast while still moving fast enough to not have the line move on you at the book you're trying to bet it at.
All the time. Ever since like the pings of that's actually in a good way. They've been a little overwhelming. So I've had to be like, I actually have a job I have to do as well. So, but you sometimes want to just look and be like, oh, there's a new one. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah. So definitely.
Yeah. I definitely, the line movement charts are a lot, or the list of odds and timestamps is a lot harder to just like quickly bet. I think the graphs of the pinnacle limits and odds, like I've gotten down to like I can just take a glance and know exactly what to do. But yeah, you find yourself just placing this bet because first thought you just look at bookmaker, you go, all right, they opened 61 and a half, they're at 63. I'm looking for an over, and the play shows an over, so I'm taking it.
Yeah. I don't
That's usually my quick logic.
Moves. Yeah.
And then you look a little deeper, and you're like, Circa pretty much has the same line there. So, well, we talked through that one pretty well. I like that. All right, that's it. So we owe you 2 weeks. So we will, if you want to DM one of us in Discord, then we'll hook you up with that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you guys, by the way, you never friend anyone, right? Anytime I get that, that's I've gotten a couple from different folks, but I always just reject them. And I'm like, if it was one of you for real, then I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, go to like the update page and like click on one of our profiles so you don't accidentally message a scammer.
Easiest way to see is if you share a server with them. Most of those scammers are not in our server, so if you don't share any servers, it's not us.
True.
I thought I saw some scam pings today, but then Jay Plays was saying it's a new UFC look.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Like the emojis threw me off. I was like, these can't be trusted. And he was like, no, they're actually new,
that's
new
awesome.
Click this link.
Spice up the views.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
Do we have any questions?
Let's see.
Kel's got one.
Last time I looked, it was just Braxton. We got new ones? Oh, we do.
Well, Kel's is asking, how do you guys have so much time to look at plays before playing? I feel like other exchanges, I have less than a minute or so before the line moves. That's what we just discussed. You're right. I don't. I mean, I make a 5-second snap decision and fire. Particularly on an exchange. Like I'm generally not taking the time I should, because I'm usually doing something else when I see a line I like and I got to stop and get it in.
Yeah, I will say the time I take to digest a play definitely depends on the sport and the day of the week. Like I will definitely take less time to digest a play for football, like that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where I know the lines are moving hard. And if I see good movement, it's probably a good thing. Where if I see a football play on, say, like a Monday or a Tuesday, I pause and I take more time to look at those ones. So it's just kind of finding that sweet spot of market, sport, time of day, day of the week, to figure out if you need to pay a little bit more attention or not.
I'll just add, just because I'm unmuted and I can talk. I would love it. I don't think you guys could do this, but sometimes I notice you take plays and I'm like, oh, this must mean it's a good play, but I have no idea when you took it. If there was any way to be like, closing down got this at this value, then I would be like, oh, I've already missed the good times and I'm hitting the bottom.
Have you? I think it should show it in the. Can you guys still see my screen?
When we forward it to the bot channels, I think it should show a timestamp.
Oh, see, I'm always cruising through the main bots, so I should go to the bot channel and see when you. Okay, that's good to know.
So typically when we take go ahead, Robbie.
It'll post in that channel on the time we took it. So you
got you. That makes sense. I just see the asterisks and I'm like, oh, there's a good line.
Yeah, that's a good point though. Yeah,
we got. I see. We got another one here. I'll make sure we get in before we run out of time. Curtis, you got a question? You want to ask it live? All right, we're all skate, man. Go for it.
No, I just got here, so I just be listening to what you guys be saying.
Welcome. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Brax, Adam, did you see Brax's last question about Kalshi edges?
No. First up, Curtis, you good? I just want to make sure if you had a question, we gave you the opportunity.
Oh no, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks for being here. All right. Brack says, I haven't really yet found edges on Kalshi, assuming most on Kalshi are sharp. At what point, if ever, do we see true edges at volume on these prediction markets? Yeah. So that pre-game, you're basically trading against Kalshi's trading team and Susquehanna group. You're trading against SIG and Kalshi trading pre-game today, because you can't have a market without someone willing to, make both sides of it. So they're in there algorithmically. The funnest thing to do, I don't know if you're a nerd like me, but like go into a really low liquidity market and screw with the order book. What do I mean? Go find some women's tennis match and some off, they price everything. Like, some local opening round bullshit between two people you never heard of. There's like 5,000 of liquidity, and go put a limit order in at 2 or 3 cents below the last trade, and you can literally watch automated the algorithms automatically move the order book to position against you. So either they do or don't get the bet, or if there's like I'll look for a market where there's like I'll stop and say this. What I'm basically doing on Kalshi now is scalping. I'm looking for an illiquid market with a wide bid ask. So, where yes might be 68 yes bid, ask, and 63 bid. So there's like a 5-cent spread in there. So you can go in, and if you can place it for 64 and get it and sell it right back to the relisted at 68, you can do a flip for a pretty nice return on a sizable bet. And that's really majority of my action's been, and I've got a probably 90% profit rate on these trades. I mean, they're great. You can automate them. Believe me, we're thinking about it. There's a way to do it at scale. But what I'll notice is, go to the order book where there's like a 4 or 5 cent bid-ask spread in an illiquid market, and put your limit order in 1 cent above the best for like $10, and you'll watch $1,500 jump on top of you in less than a second. That is market making software. The maker's not going to let you scalp them. They have built their software so if you try to scalp them for a penny, they're going to make that spread 3 cents instead of the 4 you thought you were going to scalp. Pre-game, that kind of sucks. But in the middle of a very highly liquid live situation, if you have an opinion on a game, and I've done well in both, MLB is a little tougher, but like a momentum league like WNBA or NBA. I mean, I've played around, and, Math and I would, kind of live chat each other on, DMing on Discord through these games earlier in the season, where it's like, the Aces are a 3.5 point dog. They're down 12. I don't think they're gonna this game isn't gonna close. Aces lose by 12 to 15. So, it's just like any other live bet. The difference is you can trade out of the bet. You don't have to take them at plus 12 on a live and hope it closes and you win or lose. What you can do is you could take them at the equivalent of, yes, 20%, and they go on a 8.80 run, and yes goes to 30, and you just sell it back and you take your 10 cents. You can do that 4 or 5 times a game. And so, Braxton, that's what I've been doing. You're not going to see a lot of pre-market edges yet. As the volume grows and the number of makers increases, and, 18-year-olds can use Kalshi. You're legal at 18 plus. So you're basically like, I'm gonna rob a toddler today. I'm waiting for all this square action to show up and see what happens. But you're not missing anything. But if you think the line's going to move, or a bot ships a play, and you think you can play it into a wide bid ask spread, just play with it. Like you go bet shit for $1, it's not going to matter. Just experiment playing the order books and trading live. Pick an NFL game. It's hard to do like watching TV because of the 30-second delay. But you look at a team underperforming the game script that the market settled at, you'd be reasonably confident there's going to be a swing, and play that swing, and just know that there's a the time decay gets very acute and rapid in the fourth quarter. So I wouldn't do these momentum trades more than halfway to 3/4 of the way through the third quarter, because your time decay on the price goes down, because you only get really you get maybe 3 possessions per side in an NFL game per quarter. So like last night's game is a great example of that. You could take a Baltimore on Kalshi at a really nice price when they're down, 4 points, but they just didn't have any. They had like 1-2 possessions after that. It just didn't. The risk reward's too high. Anyway, there's my answer to your question. If that was helpful, like just experiment with it. You go screw around for quarter-size bets. Like you can make them. It's kind of fun to do. Their app really sucks for sports betting because their interface for trading sports is the same for trading weather. And what they really need to do is make their sports pricing look like a sports book, which I think they're actually going to do. They'll call it sports betting.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've only poked around a little bit on Kalshi, but the percentages just they throw me off so bad. I have no idea like what I'm getting into, even though I know my percentage is pretty good and what they actually equate to in American odds. But like when I'm trying to think fast, then I can't do it.
My single largest Kalshi position is Rahm Emanuel to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. I have got. I might have. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of shares of that I have at 1 cent. Yeah. I'm waiting for him to announce and bounce the 3, and I'm just going to flip it. And it's like betting a plus 300 future. But the beautiful thing about Kalshi is they're paying me 4% on my position. So I basically got a money market with upside, and he ain't going to 0 because he's going to run. So my lower bound is 1%, and I feel like my lower bound is is my position. My upper bound is dude could actually go to 7-8% in the first month after an announcement. Like, it could be the most profitable bet of the year. It could be on Rahm Emanuel. But we'll find out, give it 18 months. I'll tell you how it turned out.
That's interesting right there. Could your position go to 0 before it actually ends?
Well, to go to 0 if there's no bid. So the way Kalshi works is like they post the last traded price, even if that last traded price is bullshit. Like the market could have moved, the bid ask should have moved beyond where the last trade was. Like his last trade was, he had one point, the last trade was at 3 cents because there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, and like he went on a little bit of a press tour, and in the market traded 3 for like $50. So my position, it was like, all right, well, I just paid for your college for someone, but like it wasn't real because the bid was a penny and the ask was 4 cents, and wasn't nobody buying 4 cents. Not really. The ask was 4 cents. I wasn't going to, anyway, you get what I'm saying. It wasn't real. The markets weren't real. So,
but it's cool.
So it's kind of deceptive.
You collect 4% by having it sit there, and you're only, that's interesting right there.
But I've traded Mondami, New York. He's going to win, right? So you're reasonably sure. This is a sports betting, show, but like you think about it the same way, like he's going to win, and I have some political background, and so I understand how to read polls. No different than reading a graph and SharpMoney. Like I'm looking at this going, dude's going to win. It's trading 73. It's traded as high as 83. 73. I'm going to buy 73 and, go into a trade like I would in any stock market trade. I got an entry and exit criteria. I'm going to buy 73, sell 77. I've done like 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months. Anyway.
Curtis is from Chicago too. Said in the
hey,
comments.
Hometown. Let's go. Bears are for real.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up here because I got to get going. I just heard a kid wake up. They should be sleeping.
Yeah, good. All right.
We will be back on next Tuesday. So good luck, everyone, this weekend. Hopefully you can make some money betting some football. I've been struggling. All right. See you guys.
All right. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys.